Good evening, everyone. Good evening. We'll start the press conference after March 1st with the assessment from the coach and then questions. First, congratulations to Pablo Lasso and Real Madrid for having won a very good match. I think we've competed. We did a smart match, especially in the first half, lowering the pace and trying to find positions from the bottom. And I believe the key was the fact that Campazzo, Deck and Taylor had an excellent defense, very physical, very athletic, and of course that's from a really first level European team, and that changed the whole thing. We suffered a lot on the second half and building the game, and they deserve to win, but I'm happy. This is very long and this is not the matches that change our season. Of course, you come here and you give a surprise. It's twice as good, but I'm happy because of many things. And now we are going to go to Thursday's match. We'll start with the questions. Please identify yourself and the company that you represent. Jorge Martinez for Planet ACB. So we're talking with Campazzo. 3 assists on the first half, 12 on the second. So that was our key on the game. And the second question, today you came to Madrid. How was that for you? Honestly, I always like to go back to teams where I have lots of friends and it's a beautiful city, and I have a lot of respect for Real Madrid and Pablo Lasso and his team. Everything else, after many years, I really don't care. If fans are not happy, that's fine, and if they are happy, even better. But as my big master says, that's irrelevant. And for the rest, of course, Campazzo, we're talking about a phenomenal player. And the fact that they forced us to shoot in a more awkward position and therefore to miss more, something that did not happen in the first half, allowed them to play more in the open field, and that's where most of the assists happened. With that pick and roll on the turnover where you see, but you're not very well balanced because it was a poor shot, and they run because they're athletic and they're talented, and it's key, of course. Alejandro Lopez for El Español is the 5th consecutive defeat of your team in the EuroLeague. How is your team, and are you going to change something for the rest? What we are missing is the months with the Red Star. That was the one that really damaged us, because with Efes we were tied up 2 minutes before the end, and I think it's a team that lost, I believe, 2 months. So we were one with like winning Barca is twice as good, because not many teams are going to win with them, and then we're playing away. For us, as for many other teams, it's difficult. It's not easy. Once again, there's a very big group of teams fighting for the position 6, 7 and 8, and you have to be patient. We have one or another day to recover from the match we lost home, and then to win, and the next 3 we have 2 home, and of course it's important to win. But this is really long. Last year there were teams that in the second half went quite up, and then others went down. And it was a very good beginning, and now it's a worse part, and especially because we had some players who were injured and we were recovering quite fast. And for us to play against this Red Star without Mitchell, and who died, and David was injured in the first half, it's kind of a problem. So of course there's a bit of frustration, but we have to look forward. Any further questions? We have, they're going to give you the microphone. Just 1 second. I would like to ask, do we have to learn in Europe to make results relative, wins and losses, maybe to a point like in the NBA? It's interesting that this question comes from a journalist. Pilar, please. Who needs to make it relative? It's difficult in Europe to do that, to do something political or sport-like, relative, because everyone's really angry about things on the social, and each match is a war where you can leave or lose. In the US, they leave sports in a more quiet manner, and even in the playoffs, you win, you lose, and you move on. And let's move on to the next year. Over here, whoa! And you're telling me now in Madrid, please. So you're kidding at the end of the evening. So let's see next time. I would love to live the sports with less of a stress, but I think it's impossible because we Latin people are like that. Any further questions? To your right. Hello, Coach Javier Rodriguez for Real Madrid. I would like to ask further to the strengths Real Madrid so here at home would just lost once this season. Do you think that for your team matches are too long? What do you mean? That you are not strong enough? Maybe they are cast out. We are missing a depth on the bench. That's true. Or look, and I was talking about this with Pablo before the match. All these European teams have now 14 players, 15 players, but they are big teams that have stuff where the difference between the first one and playing number 12 or 13 is very controlled. And in normal teams, you have 5 or 6 that have won a big level, and then others, because of a budget or lack of players, or there's an important difference in the levels. So if you have one injury or 2 or 3 from the big ones on the substitutes, maybe they're not young or they're too young and they're not going through a good moment, and that's the difference. That's why I see that there are not a lot of wins away, with the exception of really big teams, Efes, Madrid, Barca are the ones who are winning a lot when they're playing away. All the others, not that much. But I agree, it's an important thing. Okay? Thank you so much.
Standing in a crowded room and I can't see your face. Put your arms around me, tell me everything's okay.
Good evening again. We continue now with the press conference and assessment from Pablo Lasso and questions for the coach. Okay, good evening. First, to congratulate the team for the win. I believe that obviously there were two very different parts. On the first one, they totally dominated on the pace of the match. We weren't able to, let's say, turn the calm back and how they did it from Milan. We were always back, no defense, no rebounds. We were not able to run. We were not shooting properly. Well, I also believe that the only good thing that I say from the first half was that we wore them out for the second half. And the second one, it was quite the opposite. We were able to increase our defensive work. We did a lot better. We were able to get rebounds. We were able to play more in the open field and try somehow to change the pace of the match that we did. I'm very happy because of the win. And we knew that we are on 10 very difficult days with many matches, not a lot of training sessions, not recovering a lot, and in 48 hours we have in Vitoria another very complex and difficult match. Questions? First, identify yourself. Nami Fernandez for Real Madrid Television. Pablo, good evening. Congratulations for the win. I would like to ask about the personal effort from each of your players to be able to achieve what you just mentioned, or what they did in the second half, the team got. On the debut on the second half as Madrid one of Saliveri. They asked a lot about him on this very last few days. So you saw him ready to play with the team. Yes, I'm happy because, as was mentioned, obviously it's a very demanding schedule and we were able to kind of give it another gear to the match we need. We were behind, and not just the result, but the feeling that we were playing at their pace. Obviously, it could be because of the good work of what they were doing, but we had to change that pace. In the second half, we were able to do that. And the effort, especially from Jeff, was very good. Defensively, against Tachomikov, Rudy against Roll, Randolph with his cooler. So, in general, I believe that the second half, defensively, was very good. Regarding Salah, as I've been saying, nothing changes. We're talking about a player who's been stopped for a long time. He's getting back to the team. He was training, let's say, 5 or 6 training sessions with us. And even if you were if you noticing, we had to tell him where to position himself, and he's played with us. But he's been with the NBA for 4 years, so he has to get back. And the time that he was on the field, he was very positive for us because he was the first one who provided that change of pace that was compulsory. We wanted to get back to the match. Alejandro Lopez for Espanyol, congratulations for the victory in Italy. Aitor was saying the importance of Campazzo and Taylor and Deck defense on the second half as compared with the first one. I would like for you to assess the importance of Campazzo not being there when the team goes by. Well, not Campazzo. All players playing in the guard position are very important. I think, in fact, we had a very good match defensively, very good offensively in the way of assists. But I think it was difficult for him to find his best game. He was improving as the match was going forward, and I really believe his task was quite important to understand what he needed to do. But Nicolo did that as well. In a given moment, and the minutes that he was there, he was finding situations, looking for the pace, very good work on the back, and quite often guards can play properly or not for the statistics, for the fun or whoever, but at the end of the day, they are the ones setting the pace of the team. Nothing but both Nico and Facu did a very good match. Hello, Coach Javier Rodriguez for Madrid. I would like to ask, you found a problem in the part first half of the team, and also would like to know, what does it tell you that 2019 and with just one defeat home on the EuroLeague? Thank you. Well, yes, obviously, we saw the problem. I believe the break was quite good to make the team understand different situations that we had to take a step forward defensively and offensively. Regarding the information of one defeat in the EuroLeague throughout the year, at the end of the year we are talking about seasons more than years, but of course it's really important having played between 20-30 matches against the best teams in Europe, and we were able to win most of them, so I'm happy. Knowing that at the end of the day it's just a piece of information. Jorge Martinez for Planet ICB. The first question about Miki, I don't know if it was just a bump or a scare at the end of the match, and you were talking about Nico and that difference between the first half, that it seemed that he would go there, break the defense, but he was not getting there, and he would open for the 3-pointer. In the second half, he was more daring, he was participating. You talk to him. I don't know if he's missing that point of saying, I have to be the scorer I was when I was playing at the Juventus. Jordan seems to be sprained, nothing serious. I talked to him, and they're going to see his ankle. Of course, I'm worried because we're going to play in 48 hours, but he seems to be okay. We'll see tomorrow. But I'm optimistic a bit because of the conversation I had with him. Regarding Nico, the only thing I want is for him to play basketball. I think he's a great basketball player. I think he can he can contribute a lot, and I always expect the best of him, knowing what we can help him and what he can help us. So this is a two-way street. Obviously, playing Juventus, playing Real Madrid is totally different teammates, different colours, different competition. He has to adapt. He's in a very difficult position, but in that sense, I'm calm and I know what he can contribute with, and we value that. He's not the same player when he was playing the Juventus, and he should not be. I think the first one knowing about that is that. Is that all? Okay, thank you. Good evening.